My name is Zalmai Haidary. I was an archeologist back in Afghanistan with some research work and some archaeological excavation, exploration and surveys and things like that. And I came to Australia in 1985. Since then I changed my line of work. So I work in different position and in different area, but not archaeology. Museums are important to any culture and history anywhere in the world. I mean, just like Afghanistan, because as I said, it's been situated in a crossroad of civilization, mainly the Silk Route. It's got different invaders that came and passed through Afghanistan, gone up and down, so like Alexander the Great, and then we got the Achaemenian period. And then the actual local civilization, and then the Islamic period. It was of great value, great artifacts of the museum, which was culture and history of the country. Objects of the museum, which important things is, I mean, looking from the pre and proto-history, from Stone Age coming all the way down, there are lots of objects in different areas. Like, I mean, you can talk of ivories of Bagram, which are very important, and then the glasses, discoveries of the coins from a place called Mirzaka and Paktia province of Afghanistan. And in my area of specialization, which was coins, there was a big coin of 10 drachm, which was a Greco-Bactrian coin, which was a unique one in Afghanistan, and that was a silver coin. There was a bit of discussion between the scholars and professors, mainly Professor William McDowell from British Museum in England, that this may not be a coin, this may be a medallion, but finally they came to a conclusion this is a 10 drachma coin, like a 10-unit coin, which was a big one, and related to one of the Greco-Bactrian king of Afghanistan, which is called Amintas. At that time we did not put the coin for exhibition, we made a mold of it in stuccos and then put it there because it was a bit precious thing to be kept in the window because of the security. After the Saur coup occurred, unfortunately, there was less values to the artifacts and culture and art and stuff like that. It's more like on the military line. They were trying to sort of push towards a militarized zone, and then as a result, they tried to occupy the building of the museum for a military base, and then part of Kabul, which is called Dar Aman. And then they forced the authorities to take the museum artifacts and objects and put them in boxes, store them somewhere in one of the confiscated houses of the royal family, because they need that building urgently. And so this was like a rush packed up and moved the museum objects, and then took it to that place, and that was there. It was packed there for almost around a year or more than that. I'm not sure about the time, because it's been a long time. And then after that, in the second phases of the Saur coup, which was the Parcham fraction of the Communist Party that came into power, they tried sort of to relocate and then register the museum objects again. And as a result, a delegation was chosen, a delegation of 15 or 16 people, mainly from Museum and Institute of Archaeology, International Center for Kushan Studies. They were a research study institution, to get together and just sort of to form a delegation and relocate and refurbish the old building and take the objects there. When they left the building again, they also left in a rush, and then they gave us the key, and then we had to go and open, and we were first delegation to went and see the things, and then we tried to ask them to clean it up before we bring other people in order to see it. So it was horrible scenes that we saw in the initial stages. They use it as like underground cells for torturing purposes and things like that. How can I say? Like, I'm just horrible scenes, you know. I'm just like, you find the people's part of the body, in some corners and in the ground, and then there was pieces of clothes and some places that these communist members had made for their own entertainment and things like that. So this was it was not something that we can talk much about it. Yeah, and unfortunately, we had to sort of clean up all those mess and try to refurbish it. Yeah. Small objects were okay, and then there's like some statues and statuettes were broken, some frescoes were destroyed, like bits and pieces, so we had to fix them and to restore them. Generally, it was packed good. I mean, the people who were in the museum, they knew the values of those objects, although they were under the pressure to do it in rush and do it, but they tried sort of to do a good job. Actually, the reason I left, I was under pressure, like from the Communist Party, and I was feeling that my life will be in danger, and then I will be arrested, and I know the consequences of being arrested. So, because I was not able to tolerate, and I was an outspoken person, and then I knew that one day I'll get myself into trouble. So I received some warnings as well. Then I escaped to Pakistan, but unfortunately I was caught up in the middle in Jalalabad, and I was in prison for another 3 weeks, or 21 days exactly, and then I was badly tortured, traumatized, and with my 2 younger brothers. This was the whole family that were planning to escape. They were caught up, and then the only fault that I had, because I wanted to leave the country. I couldn't bear to stay anymore. And then my escape was a very dramatic escape, because we had to escape in the back of a truck early in the morning after the curfew. Then it was a time, we chose a particular time because at the end of the Eid, or beginning of the Eid, so because there was holidays and people were in break, there was no searches in the post, so I went to Jalalabad, and I was caught up there in prison for 3 weeks, badly tortured with my 2 younger brothers. Then I escaped from the prison with the assistance of a double agent, and then walked all the way from Jalalabad to Pakistan. This is a journey of almost 8 days, and it's a long journey. Yeah. And day and night we were walking, and then we're coming across dead bodies, birds were feeding on them, and then unexploded bombs, and the mines on the road, that they were cultivating mines. So this was a horrible situation time. Yeah. Then I went to Pakistan. I stayed there for a year, applied to different countries through United Nations. Australia was the first one, and then I came here. And not much scope for archaeology, although I started working a little bit in Macleay Museum for 3 months work experience in order to gain something in my own field, but it was a bit difficult. Time was tough for Australian archaeologists. They were doing work overseas. So then I had to change and went back to social welfare and psychology, and then other areas. Now I'm working as a translator interpreter. I worked for almost 15 years as a trauma counselor with an organization called STARTS, Service for Treatment and Rehabilitation of Torture and Trauma Survivors. And prior to that, I worked for some time with immigration, and then for a while with the Commonwealth Employment Services. So a couple of government jobs here and there, and then after retirement, I went back to interpreting and translating. I'm really happy, at least, that the people can see this treasure around the world. There was time that, unfortunately, it was not possible to do this because of the war situation, and then lack of insurance and guarantees and warranties and things like that. I'm glad that at least people can see that, because what people are hearing about Afghanistan is all war, fighting, killing, and they did not notice that there was such a treasure, valuable treasure in Afghanistan, and people had some cultural values and a good past and a good history.